It wasn't a movie adaptation, it wasn't a quiet survival horror game, and it sure as hell wasn't polished. But somehow, this forgotten Evil Dead game captured the spirit of Ash Williams better than anything before it. A chainsaw, a boomstick, and enough demon guts to repaint the walls. What was this game?
You're not going in there! Are you crazy?
Crazy is as crazy does, baby. Now give me some sugar. Ooh.
Released on PS2 and Xbox, Fistful of Boomstick is a third-person hack-and-slash spin-off set deep in Evil Dead's twisted universe. Developed by Vis Entertainment and published by THQ. This one drops us 11 years after the film Army of Darkness, but it actually picks up just 3 years after Hail to the King, the PS1 game. In this one, things start off with Ash recounting his nightmare battles against the Book of the Dead to a mysterious stranger. And from there, we get dragged into another round of Deadite-infested chaos told through flashbacks. And yes, Bruce Campbell is back to voice Ash in this game, bringing every bit of his classic wisecracking charm.
Took prisoners, made them do their dirty work, locked them away somewhere underground.
There's this cute little redhead into witchcraft and spooks, that kind of stuff. You think she might be with him?
Could be, if they're not dead already.
Oh, Christ, another optimist.
Alongside him are a surprisingly stacked voice cast, including Debbie Mae West, Rob Paulson, and even Tom Kenny, SpongeBob. There's something satisfyingly grimy about Fistful of Boomstick. It doesn't try to reinvent anything. It just hands you a chainsaw and says, go kill Deadites. And honestly, it works. The movement feels smooth, the lock-on helps you manage the chaos, and there's a simple little combo system that adds flair, like holding your chainsaw attack to trigger a wide spin, or slashing twice before jamming into a Deadite and holding him up in the air. It's dumb, it's bloody, but it's brilliant. Don't want to die. Where it really shines is the weapon variety. You don't just get the chainsaw, you get chainsaws. Plural. There's a diamond-bladed version, there's a flamethrower arm, a minigun arm, even your guns have different ammo types, shrapnel, incendiary, explosives. It feels like Ash raided a military surplus warehouse on his way back from hell. The enemy variety isn't mechanically deep, but cosmetically it's fun. Each level throws a different flavor of Deadite at you depending on the time period you're in. That's right, there's time travel. 1 minute, you're chainsawing through a museum. The next, you're in the Colonial version of Dearborn, the city the game takes place in. Then a Civil War era. And finally, a post-apocalyptic nightmare version of the city. It's janky, but it keeps things moving. The real star, though, of course, is Bruce Campbell. Without his voice and that smug, cocky energy, this whole thing would just fall apart. But he's so on brand here, dropping one-liners left and right.
Well, this has been a nice little visit, but I think it's time me and the Stone skedaddled back to Michigan.
The writing knows what it is, over-the-top B-movie schlock, and it never overstays its welcome. That said, there is some bloat. Some sections drag because it's unclear where to go, and the game floods you with enemies as if that solves the problem. It doesn't. The spell system's cool, in theory, but barely useful in practice. And if you're not an Evil Dead fan, this game probably won't hook you. But for the fans, it's the best Evil Dead game ever made, no question. It just gets it. The tone, the gore, the attitude. It's all there. Not because it's polished, but because it knows exactly what it wants to be. So what was this game? A blood-soaked, loud-mouthed, demon-slaying B-movie power fantasy, and honestly, that's enough. No one can withstand the Ash thrust. There's no grand legacy tied to Fistful of Boomstick, no wave of remakes, no long threads dissecting its mechanics or story. It came out, did its job, and vanished, quietly, no fanfare, no curtain call, just another relic on the shelf for those of us who happen to be paying attention. But if you were a fan of Evil Dead, that was more than enough. You saw Ash on the cover and knew what you were in for. Deadites, one-liners, chaos. It didn't need to sell you on anything else. It was simple, loud, and exactly what it said it was. And honestly, that's part of the charm. It never tried to be a genre-defining hit. It didn't need to change the franchise. It just wanted to hand you the chainsaw and let you rip through Deadites. And sometimes, that's all a game has to be. Before we get deep into the story, just real quick, I want to say thank you. We're right on the edge of 1,000 subscribers. I'm honestly blown away by the support this channel's been getting. I've wanted to make content like this for a long time, and the fact that so many of you are watching it, commenting, and sharing it, it means the world to me. You're helping me build something I've always dreamed of. So if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button. Let's keep this thing growing together.
Joining me tonight is parapsychologist and best-selling author Professor Alex Eldridge, author of the critically acclaimed Necronomicon. Welcome, Professor.
We start the story off in Dearborn, Michigan, late at night. There's a local broadcast airing live, some low-budget show called Mysteries of the Occult. They're going all in on the supernatural for this one, filming straight out of the Claw 2 station. Side note, that's a little nod to the day the Earth stood still, Claw 2, being a phonetic wink to Claw 2. The host, Trisha Pettywood, is your typical sensationalist type, out to uncover the truth about the Necronomicon. She's got a guest with her, Professor Alex Eldridge. Big name in the world of paranormal junk. Best-selling author, real smug vibe. He was apparently a colleague of Professor Raymond Noby, the guy who really knew what the book could do. Eldridge, he just turned it into a paperback. Now, while all this is going down on live TV, we cut to Ash. He's slumped at a bar in the red light district, probably the only place that still lets him run up a tab. He's watching the broadcast, already a few drinks deep, and he's not impressed. Calls Eldridge a fraud, says he couldn't tell the real Necronomicon from a roll of soft two-ply. The bartender slides him a drink on the house and says sorry about Jenny. That name hits hard. Jenny was Ash's girlfriend, the one from Hell to the King. She died in a bus crash 3 years back. Even now, it's raw. Back on the TV, Trisha mentions this local man who wants to claim the Necronomicon could rise the dead and send you tumbling through time. She doesn't name him, but it's obvious who she's talking about. Eldridge brushes it off. He says that kind of talk is just delusions of some washed-up lunatic. Ash hears that and starts ranting, half drunk, half broken, talking about Deadites and everything he's been through, about how he had to cut his own hand off. It's all real to him, but nobody's listening. Then Trisha drops the bomb. She says they've somehow gotten their hands on one of Professor Noby's original tape recordings. Yeah, the one that reads the incantation. Ash freaks out, starts yelling at the screen, begging them not to play it. But of course, they can't hear him. They play the damn thing live, and just like that, it happens again.
Oh, I can hardly wait.
Wait. What the hell are you doing? Don't play it. Don't play that taste.
Strata, Mantos, Nosferatus, and...
The Deadites are unleashed, right there on live television. The evil sweeps through town, silent and fast. It hits the bar, possesses the bartender right in front of Ash, and without missing a beat, Ash pulls out the boomstick. Yeah, he had it with him. And just like that, the nightmare starts all over again.
Make mine a double.
Once Ash steps outside, it's clear the situation's gone to hell. Deadites are everywhere, dragging people off, turning civilians into monsters, and the cops are already in full force trying to stop the chaos. Ash knows the trouble started at Claw 2, so that's where he heads first. He's low on shells though, so he makes a quick detour to gear up. That's when he stumbles across a shovel, which we'll have to do for now. The Deadites have even hit the Kitten Club, Dearborn's local strip joint. And the police have the area locked down tight. Ash manages to talk his way past the chief, and after snagging a police ID from a fallen officer and grabbing a chainsaw out of the lumberyard, the plan is to get to the station, find more firepower, and figure out how to stop the madness. Only problem is, the station's locked down. Even with a key, the gate's jammed up, and the only guy with a card key is the doorman, who, according to the cops, wandered off into the strip club to die with a smile on his face. Ash blasts through the Deadites behind the club using a stick of dynamite, finds the doorman's card key, and along the way picks up a spell book with a new incantation that temporarily gives him the strength of 10 men. He uses it to kick open the Claw 2 gate. Trisha and Eldridge are under attack. Ash saves them, and the three of them come to the same conclusion. They need Noby's original notes on the Necronomicon if there's any chance of reversing this. Trisha and Eldridge run off to the church for safety, and shocker, Ash is left to clean up the mess. Meanwhile, hell's literally breaking open around town. Vortexes are appearing all over the place, spewing out Deadites like some twisted interdimensional sewage pipe. The church preacher tells Ash he'll need silver to close the portals, so Ash heads out again. He ends up helping a biker gang fend off an ambush, gets silver in return, and even picks up a handgun from a nearby cop. A professor at the local university hands over Noby's notes. But there's a catch. Noby wrote them in code. Clearly the old man knew exactly how dangerous this stuff was. Now, they need a cipher to translate it. Ash passes the notes to Eldridge, then grabs another spell that lets him possess semi-human Deadites. Basically a way to sneak through heavily infested areas. He uses it to get past a horde behind the police station and digs through a trash can to find the cipher, and an envelope meant for a local auto repair guy. Turns out, it's just a bill, but the mechanic still gives Ash some explosive shotgun shells for the trouble. Ash heads back to the church, only to find out the front door smashed in, the preacher's dead, and Trish and Eldridge are missing. He tracks them to the park, where the Deadites are herding civilians like cattle. Ash fights his way through, saves them both, and finally gets the cipher into Eldridge's hands. With that, Eldridge decodes the notes and discovers something big. The Kandarian Summoning Stone. According to the text, it has the power to command and even destroy the Deadite hordes. The guess is probably stashed at the local museum, since the founder, Nathaniel Payne, was obsessed with the occult. Trisha and Eldridge head that way, and Ash follows after closing the remaining vortexes.
Trisha and I will go to the museum and try to find the stone. You must close the remaining vortexes that have opened around town. That should buy us some time.
When he arrives, something's off. The place is very quiet. Trisha and Eldridge are nowhere to be found, and even the Deadites seem to be laying low. It doesn't last, though. Ash gets locked in the basement and attacked by undead saber-toothed tigers. And after taking them out, he gets a key card. That gets him out of the basement, and along the way he grabs a couple old Greek vases and a gas pump. In the locker room, Ash runs into a living security guard, one of the only people left who hasn't turned. The guy nearly shoots him on sight until Ash throws out one of his signature one-liners. The guard relaxes and explains that he always had a bad feeling about this museum. Apparently Nathaniel Payne built a human sacrifice chamber underneath the building. One day Payne just walked in and never came back. The guard unlocks all the basement doors for Ash, except for one that keeps glitching shut whenever he gets close. He finds Trisha and Eldridge trapped in the east wing, sealed off by a power surge. To get them out, Ash heads back to the basement and finds another spell. This one lets him possess hellhounds. He uses it to sneak into the broken off area, and blows up the generator with dynamite, cutting the power and freeing them. There we go. When he returns to the locker room, the guard's turned into a Deadite. Ash puts him down and discovers a hidden divining device behind a portrait of Payne. Using it, he tracks down 4 magical gems, unlocks Payne's chamber, and heads inside. The founder is still alive, sorta. Payne's now a monstrous demon that hurls fireballs, but Ash defeats him by reflecting his attacks with a shovel. He grabs the Kandarian Summoning Stone, flirts with Trisha, who's still wary of him, and then the real twist drops.
Gesundheit. Oh, mama, somebody light a match.
Eldridge reveals he knew the truth all along. He doesn't want to stop the Deadites, he wants to control them. He opens a vortex and jumps through, planning to use the Necronomicon and the stone to rule the world. Trisha begs Ash not to follow. She calls him crazy. He just smirks, kisses her, and says, "Crazy is as crazy does," before diving into the portal after Eldridge. Ash crashes down in a whole different time. Dearborn, Michigan, way back in 1695. Turns out Eldridge guessed he'd follow and was ready for it, sending a wave of Deadites Ash's way before slipping off again. Once Ash puts the horde down, he runs into a group of confused villagers, who mistake him for someone else, a local blacksmith named Williams. And here's the kicker. Williams looks and acts just like Ash. That's because he is his ancestor. Ash tells the blacksmith the truth, but the guy barely bats an eye. With the Deadites running wild, nothing really surprises him anymore. The two team up fast. Williams upgrades Ash's boomstick so it can fire off 8 rounds before a reload, and even turns the gas pump Ash brought with him into a makeshift flamethrower using some good old Colonial moonshine. Ash heads into town to gather more parts and manages to track down a chunk of scrap iron. But when he gets back, the place is a mess. Bodies everywhere, Williams is gone. Realizing that losing his ancestor could erase him from existence, Ash hauls it through the town cemetery and eventually finds out what happened. Eldridge has taken the blacksmith hostage. Eldridge lays out his terms. He wants a scroll containing a spell that lets him safely pass through the vortex again. If Ash brings it, he'll let the blacksmith go. Ash plays along, finds the scroll, but no surprise, Eldridge breaks the deal. He jumps through the portal and leaves behind 2 monstrous Deadite enforcers to finish the job if Ash tries to follow. But Ash doesn't fight fair. He hunts down another possession spell and uses it to outwit and kill both guards, freeing his ancestor. Once reunited, he hands over the scrap iron, and before stepping into the vortex himself, the blacksmith coins a brand new family motto. One that feels like it was meant just for Ash. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do.
Thought of making that the family motto.
Sounds swell. Here, I found this for you. I guess now I'll never know what you made out of it.
I'll use it well, kinsman.
Ash isn't done time hopping just yet. This time, he lands smack in the middle of Civil War era Dearborn, right behind Eldridge once again. Before Ash can react, Eldridge slips into a Union fort and fires up another vortex, ready to vanish once more. Getting inside the fort won't be easy, but Ash being Ash, he finds a workaround. He plays diplomat. Somehow, he convinces both the Union and Confederate forces to put their fight on hold long enough to deal with the real threat, the Deadites. Turns out the captain leading the Union soldiers is a descendant of Williams the blacksmith, and he's got something pretty special on hand. A working Gatling gun built from the scrap iron Ash gave to his ancestor back in 1695. Ash pushes through the chaos and finally corners Eldridge. He gets a shot off, but instead of finishing the job, it triggers a transformation.
Sure I can. This baby's point and shoot, and I've had plenty of target practice. This moron is on a roll. You know, you nerds are all alike. You go through life with your panties in a wad just because the other children never let you keep your lunch money. Well, Poindexter, your inner child's about to get a lead enema. Professor?
Eldridge mutates into a massive, twisted, dragon-like demon. It all comes down to this last fight, and Ash, armed, outnumbered, and way past fed up, brings the beast down. With Eldridge defeated, the way home opens once again. Ash steps back through the vortex, leaving Civil War Dearborn behind, and returning to the present. That's what you call it.
So I got back to the here and now, only someone had been doing some remodeling. From the decor, I figured it was the Deadites. And someone in all this mess was Trisha, if she was still alive. I'd lost some fine women to the Deadites. I wasn't about to give up on another. First, I had to find someone who could tell me what the hell happened while I was enjoying my whistle-stop history tour.
Ash finally makes it back to present-day Dearborn, but it's not the town he left behind. In his absence, the Deadites have completely taken over, and at the top of the rotting food chain is a new ruler, a Deadite queen who's now wielding the Kandarian summoning stone. The same stone that Ash forgot back at the Unionist Fort. Trying to salvage the situation, he frees the surviving townspeople, and sets his sights on the queen. But when he finally faces her, the real gut punch hits. It's Trisha. She's been turned. There's no saving her now. Ash does what Ash has to do. With one final blast of dynamite, he puts Trisha and the Deadite ring down for good. The stone is back in his hands. The town is in ruins, but evil has been pushed back, at least for now.
That translation, whatchamacallit, and recited the incantation to send me back home. Trouble is, I sort of messed up some of the words. Well, it wouldn't be the first time.
And just like that, we're back where the game began. Ash, still rambling, trying to set things right with the Kandarian summoning stone, but in true Ash fashion, he completely screws it up and accidentally launches himself even further back in time, all the way to Feudal Japan, right as Genghis Khan's forces are gearing up to invade. He's captured, being dragged through a palace, and the man he's been telling this whole story to, turns out that's Emperor Kamiyama. Too bad Kamiyama doesn't speak a lick of English, and apparently, Ash has been ranting non-stop for 3 hours straight. The Emperor decides to put the summoning stone to use against the Mongol threat, and execute Ash while he's at it.
What's he saying? Hey, crouching tiger, hidden jackass, take it easy.
But before the blade can drop, the evil force returns, possessing both the man Ash was talking to and a group of nearby samurai. That's Ash's cue. He rips the katana from one of the guards, squares up, and delivers a final one-liner in flawless Japanese.
Groovy.
So what was this game? It wasn't a masterpiece. It wasn't polished. It wasn't trying to compete with the biggest action games of its era. But that's the thing, it didn't need to. Fistful of Boomstick was a scrappy, chaotic love letter to the Evil Dead fans. It didn't care about being perfect. It just wanted to let you chainsaw through hordes of Deadites, shotgun in hand, wisecracking your way through time. And honestly, that might have been the most Evil Dead thing it could have done. It knew its tone, it knew its character, and most importantly, it knew its audience. This wasn't for the critics, this was for the kids like us who grew up watching Ash get tossed around a cabin by invisible demons and somehow walk away smirking. It was rough, sure, clunky at times, but it felt like stepping into a sequel that never made it to theaters. One where you got to beat the guy with the boomstick, the chainsaw, and a one-liner for every monster in the room. And when you look back, especially now, years later, it's easy to see this game for what it really was. It was heart, it was grit. It was a cult classic that showed up, did its job, and left a trail of Deadites in its wake. Not every game earns its place in the vault because it's perfect. Some do it because they understood the assignment, and this one was groovy. So that's Evil Dead: A Fistful of Boomstick, an uneven, ridiculous, but honestly kind of awesome title relic. It's rough around the edges, but it knows exactly what it is, and sometimes that's more than enough. If you made it to the end, thank you. We're about to hit 1,000 subs, and every single one of you helped get this channel to where it is. This has been a dream of mine for years, and the fact that people are showing up, connecting with the videos, and sharing them, it's unreal to me. So if you enjoyed this one, give it a like, drop it a comment, hit subscribe if you haven't already. It really does help out a lot. And as always, I'll see y'all later.
Make mine a double.